Okay. One amendment to the agenda is that we will sign the maps.
Oh, yeah.
So we put it on last week to talk about it, but we didn't
Well, we,
get it.
yeah.
Anyway,
Mr.
other than that, we're good.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hey, first up, Indigent.
Yes, Chantel Alaulu with Indigent Services. The first case that we have for you today is case number 2022-0037. It does appear that this applicant meets all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the Indigent program. The total estimated charges is $20,000. The applicant is unable to make the 5-year payment and has no other resources available to meet the request. The applicant has committed to a 5-year, a $50 a month repayment plan upon approval of this application. The next case that we have for you is case number 2022-0041. It does appear that the applicant meets all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the Indigent program. Total estimated charges is $36,000. The applicant is unable to make the 5-year payment, has no other resources available to meet the request, and has committed to a $50 a month repayment plan upon approval of this application.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that on case number 202-20037 and 202-20041, we approve as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
The next case that I have for you is case number 2022-0047. Recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 313505A2. The applicant contacted the Indigent office and stated that they're not interested in applying for the Indigent program and requested to withdraw the application.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on case number 202-20047, I make a motion that we deny this request as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, Mike.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Jaglowski, Bannock County Engineer. Good to be here. I have before you a final plat, Evening View Subdivision, final plat. It's located at the corner of 2.5 Mile and Highline Road. It's a 5-lot subdivision with a density of 1 lot per 5 acres according to Bannock County ordinance. And we have reviewed it internally and find that it's ready for your approval and execution.
Have you been out, you've inspected everything? Everything's good to go?
Yes. The road, and that's a great point. The road that was put in, it's a single road, cul-de-sac, access to 2.5 Mile. Both myself and also Road and Bridge, Kyle and Tyson have been out there several times and inspected the road and do approve it.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move, I don't have a name of the subdivision in front of me. Hold on.
Evening View, sir.
Evening View.
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Evening View subdivision as presented and authorize the chairman's signature.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Commissioners, I do ask that I don't see Mr. Dixon here.
Did you go talk to Jason?
He's got stuff on the phone.
Okay.
So just push him to the side. He'll be down here and just come.
Okay, very good. Well, we can wait until he gets here, or we can sign now and he can sign just when it happens.
If you're okay sitting right there for a minute, we'll just...
Absolutely.
Let's see. Okay. We're good for Christie. Yep. Christie?
Christy Davenport, Management Assistant. Through a series of events, I recently discovered that the Salvation Army submitted 2 applications for property tax exemption in 2021. Both parcels were reviewed by Commission. However, the parcel ID number for the second parcel did not get included on the spreadsheet that the Commission read into the record for approval. The Salvation Army received a tax statement in the fall and didn't question it and paid the full year of 2021. At this point, they're still unaware that they should not have paid those taxes. I have spoken with the treasurer's office, and if the commission approves a cancellation for 2021 on parcel number RP/RPTH10000100, a refund check can be cut and sent back to the entity.
I'm assuming, so the parcel that was missed is the parcel that was located on Vista Drive?
This is yes, it's a home they purchased, and it's where their clergy
Okay,
stay.
that's what my question was, that this is a clergy house
It
that
is
is
a
not being
clergy
used
house.
for rental purposes? Okay.
If you do issue a refund, it'll have to come out of our office, and we'll have to hold the money back from the tax districts, because the money's already been dispersed. Just so,
Is that how we, I
When
mean,
it's easy to do.
Okay.
I just wanted, I didn't know if anybody knew that
Yeah.
that was the process, so I just wanted to
Okay.
make everyone aware.
When I
So-
spoke with Misty, she said that shouldn't be a problem because they shouldn't have received it in the first place, so.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
I just was more worried about
Yeah.
process.
So
that they shouldn't have to do
procedurally,
it. Procedurally.
they've already, the taxing districts have received the money, so this will come out of the general fund?
No, no. What we'll do is we'll hold the money from every district and then write them a check back. But it'll be processed through our office,
Okay,
and we'll take the money from the districts.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and the amount, I'm sorry, of the taxes that were paid is $4,853.10.
Mr. Chairman, I move then on parcel number RPRPTH10000100, that the above amount of $4,853.10 be refunded.
Come on up.
We just
Do you have any comments or concerns? No. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we have a motion then.
Motion's on the floor.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now we'll welcome Jason to the front. Sir.
And sending all that to JFAC, they're gonna blind carbon copy all the members, because I don't want it to turn into a serial.
Right. She's meeting with us this morning on that packet, isn't she? Thought read it
I just
somewhere.
emailed her back on the packet, I said it's good for me to send it.
Yeah, I said it last night.
So, yeah, I didn't say, it's great. So-
Yeah, that was that next level of looking.
And it's just, gotta go, and it's like, we send it tonight, or right now, we need to send it again tonight, and we need to send it again in the morning.
So it's on top of their email stack.
Yeah.
There's 3 copies, there's one for commission, your office, and Julie. I didn't know,
We should have the big maps, is what should be signed.
we got both. I don't know which one you wanted.
Typically, we sign the big map.
Okay.
And then they'll just scan them in. We really only need to sign one.
Okay.
They'll scan them in. It's like the big checks.
Yep. I mean, we could send, yeah, we could sign a small one then and scan that one, but it doesn't matter. We'll sign a couple of them.
Is this the same?
I think so.
I was just gonna make the microphone for the community.
I think it's the same. I'll double check.
5 lots, huh? 5 lots.
If I understand correctly, it's just,
It's just right up there on the block and building places are right up on the block.
it's not the same.
Matt, she was Ella.
Thank you.
So here's High Line, and from the center line of High Line here is about 130 feet. Elevation change, so it's just right up on top.
It's above the canal,
Yeah, I know where those are.
right there off 2.5 mile.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great.
5 acres, that's
Well, they're 2.5 acres each, and then there's
Open space.
open space of like 11.5 acres. That makes it right at 5 acres per lot density.
My problem is I need a mountain behind whenever I build a house, think it's bankers because I need a backstop.
I was thinking bunker.
Backstop,
You already
backstop.
moved to sign?
Backstop.
We haven't.
Okay.
We can do that right now.
City council, right?
So under letters, is where I put that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And,
I'm not saying anything.
think there's any-
Well, we've already approved them, we just need to sign
First
them.
one
I can.
Okay.
Maps.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we, as we have already approved the precinct maps, that we sign them now, that they're presented.
Have a motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 About the left side or the right side?
You go, I'll follow.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
I'm just gonna check to make sure it's the same.
We'll just start.
We gotta do both. Make sure you're Mike, can I steal that?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We'll just start.
Took the city layer off.
Is that all?
Yes. Oh, no, we'll start. We'll sign a couple of them if you need to. Oh, see Jeff's name right there. Because we gotta sign every one of them, that's the difference.
That should say county clerk. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Awesome. We'll call her.
hold on.
Just amend that motion to sign him when she gets into
Well,
your
it's
office.
signed,
correct?
we can sign it at convenience.
Yeah, just sign it at convenience and we'll have her change that.
What do we miss?
Says
Just,
board
this
of-
needs to
say
say
board
county
clerk.
clerk.
Well, we tried.
We tried.
Thank you.
Do that again.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Who's pen for these?
What's that?
You can keep them for those.
We have a few more.
Reprint. Reprint.
You want me to come on?
No, just get them to the.
Whenever they get before us.
You can put them out on my desk today, and we can talk about them as we have to. Sorry, Jason.
It's all right.
We were making you a commissioner there for a bit.
I don't know that I would want that job.
Really?
Kinda like my job.
It's like, you really just want the commissioner to be in charge. It's like, let me explain this to you. We're not really in charge. Some people think that we have like this.
Maybe.
We have a budget to handle, but we're not like administratively. Yeah, we run buildings and stuff, but it's not like we go and tell the clerk, you guys need to clerk faster.
Yeah.
Everybody get that.
All right, next on our agenda, we have discussion about how to proceed with leadership training for departments. And Hal's here. But what we have is some departments that have some funds that they've identified that they would like to move forward with the training that we've been doing with other county officials and people. But my discussion, what I wanted to have was a discussion, is that I don't want everybody going off in different directions, looking for a lot of different directions to go for the training. We kind of have a system that we've set up, and I'd like to kind of stay with that in the leadership training.
Model.
That model,
Some departments have excesses in their budget.
yes.
Yes, and it's got to come from internal
Right.
stuff. It's not coming from external, and that's fine, especially if there's education monies or other things. That's what you should be using them for. Is, build that resiliency and capacity inside your office.
And I guess the other part of this is, do we have a contract or do we need a contract?
Well, what's our total coming to, and where are we at? We're getting ready to hit if we start having.
We are actually over our budget right now for the training that we did this last couple of months.
For the year?
Yes.
How
It
far?
was $10,000 set aside for training, and we're at 13. There was not.
Okay. If you're gonna participate, you need to come up to the mic so that it's on the record.
Okay.
As we talk about it. But you can go ahead and come up. I just, if we're identifying the funds, they have to be identified first
Yep.
of where they're coming from.
So I would
And
say,
then-
that if departments are willing to do additional training, it needs to be inside the scope of the training model in which we're working in, under. And it needs to be, funds need to be identified in department internal right now.
But on the other side, if they identify somebody else or something else that they want to do, I want them to have the opportunity to come and talk to us about it.
Yes.
Well, for example, like Hal was just doing that disc assessment with the rest of his department, correct, Hal? Might as well come on up.
Yeah, you're the one that started this conversation, so.
And I've had several other departments talk to me about doing kind of what Hal is and rolling out that disc assessment to the rest of their employees, which I thought fit in very nicely with our training program.
Yes.
And so that's why when Hal asked me, I thought, if you've got the money, go for it, because that fits inside of where we're at, and it doesn't expand the training that we want to talk about going forward. Because as elected officials, we've kind of reached that point now where we need to sit down and map out our additional
Yeah.
training, and then also how far down we want to go, to, to the next level for Hal and stuff. And we haven't made those decisions or talked about that
Yeah.
yet. So if it's, for me, if it's within the scope of the disc assessment and some of those people that might have missed the,
Pick up the stragglers.
yeah,
Situational
thank you,
training.
situational
Yes.
leadership, then if they've got the money to do that, then okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
And that's where the other question comes in, is we identify the funds and we're paying the same people. How far do we go before we have a contract with those?
Yeah, because
with
it's-
that, you know what I'm saying there?
Professional
Right.
service. Alan,
And
contract is
From my
professional.
experience, I do actually feel like it would be very vital to have a contract where an amount is specified and held to. Without going too far, I just feel like that would be wise.
That's, yeah, and we need to probably do that now that we have, because as the scope is expanded. It might not be a bad thing if, okay, if we're gonna do this, what's the,
how far can we go on professional services, Alan? Is it 50,000 before we have to have an RFP, or, I know with procurement, we're talking about contracts over 30,000. Isn't that what we're talking about? It's 50? But, I know, but for our new procurement policy, we've been talking about having contracts under 30, if I remember correctly. Right now, you're sitting
That
on
is correct.
So in this fiscal year, where are we at with Black River?
At 13,000, close to 13.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. So then is that within the county as a whole?
Yes.
Or it wouldn't be department by
Yes.
department?
It will be the
Yeah.
county as a whole.
so the whole thing that we need to look at is, if we're gonna have them do that, where we've already had that, is what, and to get back to kind of, yeah, and I don't mind having the contract point of, okay, if we're gonna have just the disc assessments and that stuff done per employee, what does that cost per employee? So we have a hard cost up front, so we know if other departments wanna go do that, what they can budget off of,
Right.
and a not to exceed.
So Shannon and I figured that out, and it's roughly $40 an hour per employee
For the disc assessment?
for the training that they did this
Okay.
last 2 months, yes.
So again, I would just go back to Black River and say, hey, what is your cost on this then? If Hal and these guys want to do that, what is it gonna be a breakdown per employee? Because what I'm seeing is it's probably gonna spread, and it might not be, typically in those assessments, they may or may not be by hourly that way of how they're going to do that. And I would just get some hard costs that way and then just write it up and bring it back and do that with a not to exceed clause in there for this year.
Okay.
I think that would be the easiest way to do it, because I know it's gonna happen as soon, once Hal's department goes, I think there's gonna be a couple others that'll be right down.
I think that's consistent with what we're trying to do with our,
There's already been some others. that
Purchasing.
have talked about it.
Yeah,
so, we'll,
So we found, internally, we found that the DISC assessment was very valuable,
yeah.
extremely. But even more so, situational leadership became even more valuable than DISC. Right now, we would like to get everybody on the same level so that they're understanding how this works, how they react, how they respond to particular situations, and their own
Well,
their own selves is a good way to put it. At that point, we would then look to budget for situational leadership, but probably not until next year's budget in regards to training dollars. I don't have the numbers. Tristan was actually supposed to be here with me. I've assigned her to take care of this internally in the department, but she's taking care of 2 sick kids at the doctor this morning, so. Real quickly, it fits within our budget. We have changed what the money was originally allocated for, which was relative to the Planning Association.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, we felt that can be stayed for a year or 2 with the employees because of the value of what DISC assessment and situational leadership provides to the employees.
so Christie, would you send out an email today to the department heads that are on house level and see how many of them are interested in doing that?
Okay.
Then we can reach out to Black River and get a blanket bid for
Make sure,
DISC assessment.
make sure that's department heads countywide, just not
Right.
there, because
ours.
Jason,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been several people that have indicated they want to do it. And so, like I said, I'm okay with having that done. Let's just get a count. Let's try and do it all at once. Because
Correct.
that gives us, we're not going to have a piecemeal,
Okay.
Right,
you know.
and that's the part I've had a lot of people reach out to us, so if we can do that,
Sure.
then we can get that contract for that.
Sure.
And I would just say if departments don't have funds right now, that's part of our budgeting cycle then for next year, is if we want to get everybody up with situational leadership and DISCs, then let's make sure that that's where people are going and understand that.
Okay.
So real quickly, you hear from me a lot, very much when I say thank you. But in regards to myself, Tristan, and Mike, who have been through the program, the thank you is for the fact that you recognize the value of good employees and you're willing to invest that money to retain them and help them understand and teach them what it takes to be even a better employee, a better person, and how that will advance progress through employment in Bannock County, but the county in general. So we recognize it. We say thank you. We find great value. And the fact that we have this resource in our community is just phenomenal. I didn't even know something like this existed. So,
The other one, just for training while we're at it, is make a list of rank from who you think would be the most valuable down and give us the top ones for PMP.
Yes.
real quickly, while we're here, we scheduled this and worked with Angie and had a placeholder on the 29th of March. I need to ask permission for Christie or someone to come and man the phones at our office for 4 hours on the 29th that morning, if I could ask that request, please.
I'm sure we can find somebody to cover down.
Okay.
Where's the funds going to come from? Because we might need to do a reallocation.
And that's where I want to talk about,
Okay.
is because if we're going to go countywide, when people identify their funds, we need to know.
If it's
So-
not training money, then I think the intent of the budget has changed.
Yeah.
So practice has been to do a formal reallocation.
Yeah.
And that usually flows through departments talking to me, and then I'll do that little memo, and then we can get the approval to move.
So you do a line item per department, correct?
Yes.
We just do a reallocation. So
Or,
if
yeah,
if it's coming from, if it's kind of travel, then or education, then there's no change. But if it's going to come from, say, copier maintenance, then we need to do a reallocation.
So in our particular instance, it is under education and training, money's already allocated in the budget.
Okay. Is it for your department or for the planning? I mean, is it for your employees or is it for the planning board?
No, it's for the employees. So
we
when I
won't have
say,
to do reallocation.
so Christie, the American Planning Association is the professional association that planners function under, and you can get ongoing learning credits, et cetera. That's when I made the reference to planning association. That's what that's about. So it isn't a change internally in our budget for education and training.
Perfect, so
Okay.
in their case, it's perfect, but in others.
So when
there
we
might
send
be
out the
something.
email, let's send it out two parts. Number one, who wants to participate? Number two, where in your budget would you take it from? So then we can have that discussion,
And how many people do they think?
right?
Okay. Also, was it mentioned that somebody from Road and Bridge would be joining you?
And GIS.
And GIS, so would those need to come out of their personal budgets, or can planning pay for that?
It's in their training budgets as well. We've had,
It's gotta be by
internally,
department.
those three departments have had conversation about where their monies would come from,
Perfect.
whether or not they had budget to cover it before we made the commitment and pursued the conversations with the commission.
Well, and I think that's what the intent is. If it's in education, it's an educational thing, that's fine. But if, for other departments, I'm sure other departments don't have the educational budget in there, and if they do, then they have to come through just like we normally do and reallocate. And I'm okay with that, so.
On our end, because of building department, engineering, and planning, all of those respective professions require learning credits on an annual, 3 years, 5-year, so there's always budgets that are allocated for education. Because of the time frame, you can get the learning units that you need within a 3-year time period, et cetera. So we're covered that way. I believe Road and Bridge had some educational items, and same with GIS.
Road and Bridge's annual conference in November got canceled, so I'm sure they've got funds available right there.
Okay. Anyway.
And
thank
that's
you.
part of the reason I wanted to have this conversation is some department heads think things out. Some say, hey,
Sounds
I
good,
want to
let's that.
do this, let's just take money from here. And
Luckily.
I don't want to go in that direction.
Just glad I could be a thorn in your side.
No.
Hey, that's a good thorn.
I appreciate the right discussions at the right time instead of later, when it's already a problem.
No, I'm good with it. If you have budget in education, there's not even a, we don't move anything, but what we would need then is you would need the contract amounts of what we're doing to have that done. And then, yeah, we'll find somebody to,
I will forward the dollar amounts that have been
Wanna come in
quoted to
on
our
the desk out
department,
there?
GIS,
Yeah.
Road and
Yeah,
Bridge,
they
to
do
Christie,
that.
so she can assess it against
Looks good, approved.
other futures.
Perfect.
me and Jason were just talking, we can come out and run the building department. You might want to hide that approval stamp though, because, it's your lucky day. Here's your building permit. I don't even know what's on there.
You might just want me to.
Commissioner Huff, Commissioner Moser, please keep those two at bay. Let's find an assignment outside of planning and development for them, will you?
It's a full-time job. With these two, it's a full-time job. No, thank you. Thank you for looking out for your employees also.
Yep.
We appreciate that. Okay?
Cool.
All right, next. Oh, let's see, where we at?
Sheriff's Office
Commission.
amendment.
Okay, I got two of them up there together. Sheriff's Office. Access Idaho Service Agreement Amendment. Fee change for what they charge customers. And this is actually cheaper,
I think it was.
it's like 50 cents. Any comments, questions?
No. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the amendment on the Access Idaho Service Agreement as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Just put it in my pocket. All right. Oh, Jason.
Okay, we also have a public hearing notice. This is ordinance change in zone ordinance text and subdivision ordinance text.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the public hearing notice as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jason.
Starts handling.
All right, under the consent agenda, we have alcohol license. Certificate of residency. We also have salary rate approval forms and minutes from February 22nd, 24th, and 25th.
It's all consent agenda.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that being said, we'll be at recess till 11.